the ambience. So going back to what I said, I think the role of academic institutions in education is to somehow keep this curiosity alive, what sometimes we call learnability. Okay, so going back to one of the examples, Infosys, Microsoft, Ford, the chances are that over 30 years you may work for all three of them. Okay, I think what makes a kind of compelling performer is to every one of the organization he or she goes and makes a great contribution, leave something behind. That happens by being curious, being wanting to produce. I think one point, I agree with the industry folks. I think one of the mistakes we do in academics is, particularly the students, particularly the traditional VU kind of syllabus-oriented stuff, is students think, I know this, I should be given a job. I have a BTech, I should be given so much salary. I have an MBA, I have to be given something. But what probably students have to realize is, it is not what you know, somebody will give you a check for a salary. It is what is that you can do with what you know for which people write a check. Because ultimately what you know has to be translated into something that is useful, that ultimately will find a customer in the form of a product, services, etc., which actually can be marketed and there will be a customer. That is how the whole chain operates. So people are not going to be valued just because what they know. I think one of the stuff you have to keep emphasizing as you learn is, whatever you know, try to see what is that you can do with that. That is the reason why every course has a project. Unfortunately, you people think that what Microsoft, or in fact to be more precise, there was a product called WordStar which originally came with what is called Control-C and Control-V. Afterward, that's the only thing that is used in all the projects, right? And you people think that you are smart enough. And we professors, we are dumb enough because we just give up. Because when you have to deal with 200 projects, there's no way I can find out how many are copies or which part of it is copied. We just put everybody A grade or B grade. Okay? So my feeling is, use the projects imaginatively, show what is that you can do with what you have learned.
Any other views on this topic, or we move to a different one?
Yeah. So another thing I would just want to add to what Professor said is that as faculty, I'm today in a way some kind of an unwanted faculty to my own kids because I do some amount of tutoring, mentoring, and coaching. So one of the key points which come to my mind when I'm doing that is, how do I bring a balance between rote learning and real learning? So I need to provide that facilitation to my kid, because the fact is, rote learning is also required. There are certain subjects which all of us have gone through. There is no other way you can reproduce that in your examination without actually doing a rote learning, especially the dates and the sequence of events and things like that. There's no other way you can remember. So you can't be there in like for history, or for that matter any of the other subjects. You have to do some amount of rote learning. But there are a lot of other subjects where you can avoid rote learning and actually make the curiosity part happen, the questioning part happen. And how can we facilitate that? How can that person actually go and get that real learning happening? Is something which we need to constantly keep bringing the balance between real learning and rote learning, and give some kind of a performance management for that particular student or candidate which has a good balance of both.
Actually, what Karthik said leads to an interesting view. He talked of parent as faculty, and obviously the parent as faculty is teaching in a different manner. We also agreed on the need for inspiring curiosity within the students. Now, can we debate on whether we see a changing trend in the role of the professor or the role of the teacher? Is it moving away from, or does it need to move away from the conventional role that we imagine for the teacher?
Okay, sorry. Okay, 90% yes, 10% no. Okay, let me explain. In fact, today, thanks to the technology, etc., I know there was a time when in late 70s when we all used to teach in places. I still remember IIT Kanpur, if you had to teach in April or July, August. Okay, by the time we finished the talk, we would have literally sweated it out. Okay, so so we have to kind of use the blackboard, so blackboard skills and how do you compress things in 55 minutes. Delivery was something. Thanks to all these PowerPoint, etc., those things are completely gone. And in fact, in many of the institutes today, we never distribute class material because everything is online. And we don't really insist on people attending the class. If a student can bunk my class and learn faster, I think I would like to have most of the students. Then I don't have to teach because I can save my time. It's great to have great students, right? And of course, the best of the students never actually learn from the class, okay? But only thing is it's only a small number, okay? So those things are definitely happening. The teaching in the last 20 years is very different from the teaching which we have been doing. So we have become more like a mentor, a guide, etc. At the same time, there is something which will continue to stay. I remember that when I tell my students, they can't believe that when I was doing my engineering in 60s, that the whole college had exactly 2 copies of the textbook, had 275 students. We almost used, there was no photocopy machine, we almost used to copy the book on the copy books. That's how we learn. Okay? So when everybody got a textbook, we thought, it will be great that everybody can read a textbook. But unfortunately, people seem to be more preoccupied with watching television. They don't have time to read the textbook. Okay? So what happens is, everything is available on the internet, everything is there. Most of our institutes, obviously you have talked about, today it's actually common in most institutes today. But just because things are available on the internet, it does not make people's job easy. You still need a mentor who would actually tell you what is the right thing, what is the good stuff, what is the old stuff, what is relevant, what is authentic. So I think that part of it we'll have to continue to do. So what we call the inspirational lectures will continue. The lectures where the lecturer used to perspire has gone, but the inspirational lecture will continue. So 10% will continue, 90%, in fact quite often people don't have to come to the classes, we don't have to go to the classes. The classes are all there all the time.
Actually, sir, I can't resist this, but today maybe teachers don't sweat it out also because you have AC classrooms. So can we have, do we have any other views on the changing role of teachers?
Yeah, so I guess this is more out of from the organization I come from, and I think 2-3 things which we have experienced. I'm just going to share that with you. When NIIT started, and I know about this, I wasn't there then, but I think the way we started was to become a bridge between the formal system and the industry, and that was the vision. And the company's byline is bringing people and computers together successfully. And therefore, one of the things that NIIT did is to reach out to a lot of teachers who were teaching in schools and get them as faculty members in the initial years. Because we always focused on the core fundamentals and the teaching skills, and said IT can be taught to these teachers. They become better teachers that way, to teach the subject matter which was there. And to your point, over the years what we have seen is that a very different model and a mix of what the professor also mentioned. Today the average NIIT faculty member is actually between the age of 24 and 28. And that's because it's people who learn IT and then they start teaching IT, and I myself started that way. And therefore one of the things we've seen is that the little peer role that comes in the teacher is helping absorb the subjects which are more hands-on and technology oriented, because people get to do work together. It may be a kind of a synonym for a project experience, but it's not really the teacher that you look forward to, which is only there to